Okay guys, I'm back. I promised you a video on bleaching eggs. So, here we go. As you can see, I've got Clorox, regular. There's no scent to this bleach, as bleach works the best. Don't get the thick, don't get the kind that has scents to it, and don't get the off-brands. It just doesn't work so good. So I've got just an old Cool Whip bowl, and I'm just going to fill this bowl up with just nothing but bleach. Now, I was going to show you how to bleach the hummingbird egg I did. Well, my first bleach video didn't turn out, and there's the finished egg I promised. Now, I did try to touch up the beak, and it broke off, but it still looks really cute, so I'm just going to keep it the way it is. So basically, I've got two different eggs here. This one here, I drew my pattern on. This is going to be a dress bottom. As you can tell, it looks like it's already been bleached. It looks nice and white. And this one here, I've left my pattern on it, on both sides. When you get an intricate pattern like that, if you go to peel it off, you're liable to pull your egg apart and break it. So I just kind of leave it in there and let the bleach take it off. So I'm just gonna set this down in the straight bleach. Now this video here is going to be a little bit long and time consuming because it takes approximately 15 to 20 minutes. But I'm an egg carver. I'm not a video person. I'll see if I can't figure out how to make this a little bit shorter if I can. And as you can see, hopefully you can see, it's starting to bubble, and you see some white film on the top. And basically, all that is doing is eating the membrane away. And the reason we want to do this is because when you have the intricate patterns and everything, as your membrane dries up, it'll kind of draw together, and it can collapse your egg on itself. So you don't want that. You're trying to make a gift that lasts quite a while. That if it gets broke, it's broke by human, not because we didn't do a good job bleaching. Let's see. Now, I don't know if you can tell the difference in that, how it's turned it yellow on the inside. That's just the membrane turning yellow. So that's a good sign. You'll know the membrane's gone when when there's no more yellow inside the egg. And I should be wearing gloves doing this, but I'm not. Now, we don't have to kill the membrane on all eggs. I'll be back with an example here in a second. For example, if I'm doing a carving such as this, and it's on a stand, I'm not going to worry about bleaching the inside of the egg. It won't collapse it. But if I was doing a carving on an emu egg and putting a light through it to get through the white, then I would bleach the inside, because you may have chunks of dry yolk or anything else underneath that white, and it will distort the look that you're trying to achieve when you turn your light on, and especially the older it gets. So that's the only time I would bleach a non-pierced egg, shall I say. So that way, like I said, when you turn on your light on the inside, you won't be able to see all that stuff through there. Now these two here are goose eggs. One's going to be a doll dress if she turns out. And the other one, I'm going to put a little diorama inside of it. But you use the same technique for any egg. And what I'll do is I'll sit here and I'll just let it sit and I'll keep checking it to see what it looks like. And it's still yellow. And I'll drop it back in there. And then when the one side gets done, I'll roll the egg over. And while that's working up, I will get another bowl, and I'm going to put some baking soda and some water in there to help neutralize this egg when it's done, because you want to stop the bleach from eating into your eggshell. And that's kind of the fastest way to do it, is using a baking soda water mix. And I don't really measure it, I just kind of just do a little bit of each. The good old-fashioned baking soda. But we won't use it until we're ready. It's a slow process, but it's a necessary one. And if there's other videos or types of carvings that you want to see, just message me on here. I'll see it. And I will do my best to make them for you. I wish these videos were around when I started carving eggs. Would have made my life so much easier. You can see that white foam building up. You can see the pattern loosening up too on here. See, it just peels right off. That's, like I said, that's the safest way to get your patterns off your eggs when you cut them like that. Now, some people do like to bleach their eggs before they carve because the membrane is a little bit tough, but it also weakens it when you kill the membrane. So, I personally That's the reason why I don't like to do that. So, I wait until after I'm done carving before I bleach. And then, when I'm done carving and bleaching, then I'll turn around and I'll go back and I try to clean up my eggs as good as possible, but it's hard to see sometimes with your intricate cuts because you'll have your paper, if you have your pattern glued on, and then you'll have the membrane that looks nice and flaky, and so you really can't tell if your edges are good and sharp. So I'll usually have to go back and do cleanup. Now on that hummingbird egg, I did not. The only thing I was going to clean up on that one was the beak, and it broke. So, and that happens. I knew it would before I even started on it because it was so thin. But that was fine. It still looked the same. This, you could still tell what my pattern is and everything. So it really didn't mess up the egg too much. So I really wasn't worried about it before I did it. See how that's nice and white? And where that yellow is? Let's see if I can get this. You see the difference. So you can tell where the membrane is gone. So I'll now roll the egg over to the other side. That pattern's going to come right off. Well, at least the part that's been soaking. Let me check this one. Yeah, that's good and clean there too. See the difference? Kind of hard to see. I've got bubbles in there. Might not take as long as I thought. And you can reuse your bleach. I don't bleach very many eggs, so I don't keep my bleach. Now if you have a septic tank, you don't want to dump this in your drain because it'll kill all the good bacteria in your septic that your septic needs. But you can reuse your bleach at least once. Do not pour it back into your bleach bottle. Store it, either put a lid on this or store it in a different container that you can seal really well. You'll be able to tell when it doesn't work so fast that it's ready to be tossed and get your fresh batch. It's cheap enough. It's no big deal. But some people carve a lot of eggs and they like to reuse their bleach. Now I've got a couple more. I think I have like 3 more eggs to bleach. So right now I'm mixing my water and my baking soda solution. Getting that ready to put these eggs in. But it'll take, it either won't work so good or you'll want to, it'll take forever. So that's when you know it's time to throw out your bleach and get you a new batch. doesn't take very long. Like I said, usually about 10-15 minutes. And this is my pencil marks that you're seeing on here, so this will come off when I clean it. And I'll probably run it under water. After I soak it in my neutralizing stuff, I'll run it under water and just run my finger over it until the bleach comes off. Or the pencil comes off. And it also cleans up the outside of the goose eggs and stuff too. See, that one's all done except for that little spot down here. So it's going to have to go back in there and sit. Like I said, it's easy to tell. It's hard to tell when you first put them in the bleach. But after you get it in the bleach and it starts on that membrane, you can tell a big difference. It turns that membrane bright yellow. And when your egg is white on the inside, you know it's all gone. And there's going to actually be the actual dress, just a little spot there. For a goose egg, I'm going to put a little lady topper on there. I'll probably paint this egg so I can accentuate my cuts that I have on there, my designs. Wanted a Victorian look to her. That's my favorite style. That one there still has some on the just on the inside edge, which is livable. I mean, it could be considered done. Really, it's not going to hurt it any. You don't have to get every bit of it. Mostly around your intricate cuts. There weren't around this part of the shell, unless somebody's looking on the inside of it, which they will be on this one, so that's why I want it all out. I really wouldn't worry about that too much. Or if you're going to put paint or glitter over it, if you've got just a little spot, I wouldn't worry about it, but I'm afraid it might peel off later on as it dries up. So I want it all out of there. Okay, that one's good enough. So I'm going to take this egg out. I'm going to put another egg in here. I have another one to bleach. So move that aside. Here's my water baking soda mixture. And I'll just put this in here and I'm just going to roll it around. As you can tell by my nails, it's almost St. Patrick's Day, so I've got little green and white nails with clovers on them. Now this egg here, since I'm going to run it under water, I'm not going to let it sit there very long. stick here, I want to get as much of that pencil marking off that I can, because I will be painting it, and I'm afraid that I'll be using some white, and I want to make sure that my paint doesn't pick up the pencil lead and smear it into it. So, see what I'm doing here is I use some Dawn dish soap, and I'm using a very soft bristle brush. And I'm just kind of going over where the pencil is, just trying to gently scrub it off. Now when I put pencil on my eggs, I will use hairspray, so to help keep the lead from smearing and wiping off while I'm carving the egg. I figure what doesn't come off here is not going to come off so much when I paint either, so. But for the most part, it comes right off. This other egg should be done, and it is. So I will put it in my little mixture there. I wanted this dress to have like a lacy look to it. I haven't decided if I'm going to put some lining on the inside of it to where you can see it through the holes to make it a different color than when I'm painting the egg, or what. So this is still a work in progress, and I'm still planning it as I'm going. So, I'm not sure if you can see this now. This is going to be the front of her dress. And then the bottom is not even, but when you got ruffles and lace and everything else going, what is. And then I've got just some little dots and some little roses cut out around it. And that's what I wanted on that one. So that one's nice and clean. And then now I'll rinse off this other egg, even after putting it in the other mixture, just to make sure it's got a good rinse to it. Plus I can wipe off any excess dirt that's on the outside of the eggshell. And there you have it. This is all clean. There's the outside and the inside. And that, my friends, is how you bleach and kill the membrane of an egg. Thank you for joining me. Don't forget to sign up to subscribe to me, so that way anytime I make a new video, you will be the first ones to get notified that there's one there waiting on you. And again, if there's any type of egg carving that you want to see, just message me. I'm going to work on showing you how to do a basket weave on eggshell. So, you might want to subscribe if you want to learn how to do basket weave. Thank you.